Welcome to this spin-off episode of The Law of a Separatist Alliance, which is based on the series of Awakening of a Third World War. 38 years before the declaration of a Great War, the world was in relative peace since the fall of the Soviet Union. The hegemonic world rose under the United States through the Wolfowitz Doctrine of 1992. The global government of the United States dominate with absolute authority, but to some degree influenced by American politics. Numerous guerrilla wars and insurgencies across the world still occurred, most which were based on the disturbance about the Wolfowitz Doctrine. It would take many years for the UN to quell these rebel movements and try to keep law and order. The hegemony would remain until 2008, where the international financial crisis hit the global countries hard, especially those of the European Union and the Western world that relied on modernized industries and globalization. In the East, middle-class powers were able to take advantage of the rising inflation and build their own sphere of influence. Western imperialism endured for ages since the late 15th century, continuing on until this point, whether it was more noticeable or less. Ethiopia, Japan and Colombia are notable examples of countries with ancient history to repelling the West. The African nationalist figure Menelik II in 1895 during Italy's pursuit for his territory stated that an enemy has come across the sea. He has broken through our frontiers to destroy our fatherland and faith. Enough. With the help of God, I will defend the inheritance of my forefathers and drive back the invader by force of arms. A wise man, one with certain knowledge of cultures and customs of unbound civilizations, has great sympathies for those the Europeans and those alike attempted to cleanse. They claimed to be civilizers, economists, saviors, but all he believed them to be was power-hungry maniacs. This person was a young and inspirational leader with a nickname Pugnator Consabere. The ancient Latin text fluently translates this to the vanguard of preservists. It states that one man will be chosen to forge an alliance of vast minority cultural groups against the ruthless superiors and establish a new society under Confederate rule. First step would begin with a gathering of 5 middle-class powers: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, along with others interested in joining the new economic alliance. The BRICS organization served as a powerful economic alliance between resourceful rich nations that were willing to cooperate in a mutual defense against the West. Their economic alliance was signed between the new separatist leaders in the 2008 Astana Conference. In a private conversation between Pugnator, the Minister of Foreign Finance for the separatist nations, and the Russian President Putin, he encouraged him that this new economic alliance would be equivalent to the British Commonwealth, the European Union, and the global currency of the US dollar. Not until the BRICS Summit of 2011, after the economic alliance took place 3 years later, it was seen to be a rising power when having a GDP of $14.2 trillion, as the EU was more mature despite having $17.8 trillion GDP. Pugnator aided separatist leaders of Putin, Xi Jinping, and Khamenei form a powerful movement to counter aggression of the Western world. Pugnator was a visionary, some would say, within the inner circle of the Kazakhstani government. He saw the potential of these middle-class powers using a common enemy to rally them all into a glorious confederacy of independent states. His ideas weren't blind illusions. By start of the war in Ukraine, the GDP of the BRICS had risen to a staggering $24 trillion, still seeing for greater growth in the years yet to come. China has plans to help Russia in attracting new client states from the Pacific, Middle East, Northern Africa and Latin America to their core. A conversation between Xi Jinping and Pugnato in Beijing 2 years before the war recorded Pugnato to inform that our prototype alliance has demonstrated to be glorious. Not even the United States can stop us for longer. Our economy is 16 times greater than the almighty British Empire at its zenith between 1919 and 1922. The United States having a mature economy of $30 trillion, we will surpass them in approximately 12 years' time. By 2022, tensions were clearly growing between the West and the East through a new Cold War. The BRICS alliance was a threat to EU industries, and the supremacy of the US dollar and informal expansion of Russia, China and soon Iran would violate UN charters that called for mutual cooperation and a balance of power. The West and the East began to look into the Middle East to forge alliances and trade networks with the region, calculated to have an incredibly sized storage of oil and gold, enough to turn the tides of the conflict for either side with its grasp. 2023 until 2029 would see the period of the Islamic War of Independence. Thank you for reading, and remember, long live the Confederacy.